Oh my God. What's up, girl?
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing? Long time no see.
And where are you checking in from, first of all?
I am in LA trying to keep my sanity and stay alive somehow during this crazy time. How about you?
I'm right there with you. You already know we have binged the show. I'm so excited. Everybody that we grew up with is so proud of you, y'all. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
Kendall, it was so funny. We were watching the show. We would get into these intense parts and we're like, this is Chase. What's going on at your crib right now? How are you hanging out?
So since the quarantine stuff happened, myself and a couple of the cast members, we decided to quarantine together, which has been really cool because, you know, obviously doing it by yourself is a little bit crazy. It's been cool, like just cooking meals. We made a fort for like a week. And that was cool. So we had so we've been having a good time.
That's gotta be a crazy feeling for y'all to be going to sleep at night and every day it's like a new wave of people around the globe watching you. Do you feel anxiety like when you're sleeping or you wake up the next morning and it's just like hella new follows and just
for sure. Yeah, it's a wild sensation. I mean, I think as an actor, you constantly strive for some sort of validation. The majority of your career, you're striving for validation. You're going into these audition rooms, you're going, you know, and meeting with people, and you're hoping that you can get some sort of feedback to tell you whether you do or don't suck. You know, this show, I think we all thought this was going to be something special. We filmed it for 6 months down in Charleston, South Carolina. Literally the day I got the audition was a year from the release date. So on the Wednesday, it was wild. I got the audition on Wednesday, exactly a year from the day we premiered. Flew to Charleston on Easter Sunday of last year. And then 3 days later, I got the job and I never went back to LA, and I was there for 6 months. Basically, you don't know anybody. You know, you go into this and you're just like, I hope these people are cool, and I don't know.
You guys on camera, I'm like, this would be a cool ass friend group. Like,
no, I mean, it's really surreal. Like looking back, I don't think I had any idea that I was gonna not just make friends but family.
On y'all's shoot days, like what does a regular day consist of? Are you waking up at crazy hours of the day and shooting for a long time?
So like you're waking up every day 4:30 in the morning, and then for me, like my schedule, I rarely had days off. I probably had 5 or 6 days off the entire shoot schedule. It's wild. I mean, you go from 5 a.m. you're waking up, running a set, doing that all the way till after the sun sets. And you have some days where you're going into work at 3 o'clock and then you're not leaving till 7, 8 in the morning.
The thing that I was so excited to see was there was so much action.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you're doing everything. How did you prepare for this role? Because there were so many cool stunts, and I'm like, you're doing it.
It was really cool. We had a really, really good stunt coordinator, Toby, who walked me through everything really great. I told him right when we got the job, I really want to try to do my own stunts. Like I really want to make sure that I put in the effort. I live and walk and breathe this character.
Leading up to the role, up to shooting, or were you working out in that time while you're
both
shooting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty consistent in the gym, but it happened so fast that like I really didn't have time to prepare. Like I got the audition on Wednesday, I got the call Sunday, like, hey, you're going to Charleston. And I was like, when? This week? And they're like, no, tonight, you're getting on a red eye.
As far as the audition process goes, were you somebody that the directors and producers sought out, like a group of people?
No.
Could we have possibly seen another John B? Or
Absolutely. They had read close to, I think it was like 2,000 guys or something crazy like that.
Watching it, I'm just like, of course I know you personally, but it's like, you are John B, bro.
I think there's a lot of similarities in the nuances. As you know, like I left Atlanta and I moved to Florida. Being a little bit of a hood rat and running around and getting in trouble and surfing during the summers and breaking into like Ron John surf shop and going into their hot tub to like hang out with friends until we get kicked out. Like I had a lot of personal experiences that could like really translate into the character. So it's sort of an homage to me at 16, 17, 18 years old, where I was like really like doing that type of stuff.
A hockey star.
I played hockey, up until I was probably 18, and that was my thing. The idea of going pro was obviously omnipresent. I remember I had gotten a really bad concussion. I woke up from the concussion. I thought I was in Brooklyn, but I was in Florida. And I remember we had this moment of like realization in the locker room where I was like, I can't do this any longer. And it took me a little while to kind of like refine my focus and figure out like what it is that I actually want to do. It wasn't until, I was doing a television production program in high school and somebody showed up late and they couldn't do the morning announcements. And then I was like, I guess I'll do it. And that was kind of where it started for me. In life, I think sometimes a great learning lesson, you hyper focus in on one thing and then life kind of throws you a curveball.
How do your hockey homies feel watching you, from the screen to this big screen?
Yeah, it's funny. In the first episode, obviously I lose a fight, and, to hear from hockey friends who know that's kind of like not my MO, and I've kind of been throwing hands for a while. So to hear them kind of like rag on me, it's kind of funny. I think to be able to take the discipline from hockey, because it was so meticulous and so much time invested into it. I mean, it was like Monday through Sunday for so many years. That discipline really translated into the craft. Like, you have to have some level of preparation that sets you apart from other people.
It hasn't even been a week. Like, tomorrow it's going to be a week.
Yeah.
Did you binge the show as soon as it came out like we did? Like, of course you had probably seen episodes before, but still, when it hit to the world, it's like a whole nother rush all over again.
Yeah, so what we did, we actually, as a cast, we were predominantly all together. So we were all up when it released. The majority of the cast was really involved with the post-production process. So we were watching everything progressively as it came out, which is kind of a rare experience, because as an actor, not a lot of shows really give you that luxury to sit down with not just your director and your producers and showrunners, but also your sound mixers and your editors, and have those relationships. It became this crazy, wild family. And I think we knew subconsciously that experience and those people was going to translate into something. I don't think we ever anticipated to be, a top 10 show in 25 or 30 countries.
I look, it's moving up.
Yeah,
up,
we took out Tiger King.
Top 4, like,
yeah, it's surreal.
What scene do you look at and you're like, I'm so proud of that? How that played out for you? There's
one scene in particular. He goes to Ward Cameron's house and he confronts Sarah. For me to go that deep into a scene and like confront somebody that the audience is believing that I'm in love with, to have a gun in my hand and to go to her, pretty wild. Maddie got so scared of me on that day because I was just kind of like really, really deep into it that I ended up making her cry. Didn't want to make her cry, but like to know that she's actually legitimately scared of me in between takes, I was like, all right, well, that's kind of cool.
What cast member are you? Who do you just click with?
I mean, it's crazy because, I think sometimes you can justifiably say, like, this is my guy or this is my girl or whatever. But, like, it's just this equal playing field. Every time we're together, whether it's singularly or as a group, it's just all love. It's really hard to explain. And I think to an extent in some of our interviews, a lot of people are seeing it now. There's just this really, like, bonkers chemistry of these kids who justifiably love each other just as much off screen as they do on screen.
Are we allowed to know anything? Can you give us any hints about season 2? Because that cliffhanger at the end, though, I'm like, I know something is coming. Tell us.
Yeah. So it's completely up to the viewers. So everybody who is here right now, if you continue to watch the show, you are guaranteeing that there is a possibility for us to have a season 2. I could say this. If we get a second season, it is going to be chaos. I mean, you think the stakes were high in the last couple episodes. I promise you this. You will get your brain blown away by what these guys are scheming up. I'm just like, how is this going to play out? The way it ends is just so like, oh my God, is the gang going to get back together? Are they going to link up in the Bahamas? Like, is something going to happen on the ship? Are they crooked? I don't know. I think that's the cool part about it is like there's so many different ways that you can go. And I don't think there's really necessarily a wrong way to go about it. I'll say this, we're listening. So we hear what the fans are saying. We hear what people are doing on Twitter. We see what people are posting on Instagram. So a lot of those things will factor into the choices of the next season. And I think in order to have a show with longevity, you got to listen. And so we're seeing what people are saying, and we're definitely taking that into consideration. And hopefully, Netflix sees everybody that's continuing to binge the show and push it on social media. What do you have next? Because I just want the people to know you have been in pursuit of this for such a long time. And I just remember, I think it was like 3rd grade. You had brought clips. You were in a magazine. You were in a couple of magazines and everything. So it's like beyond exciting to see this come to fruition. This is like incredible. Even now, leveling up the playing field. And I know that your dreams are even bigger now. So what do you want? What do you want? I mean, I think the cool thing is like, all I was not just acting, I was shadowing on the directing side. I was learning about producing. I was learning about writing. I've just learned so much that now I'm like, okay, let's not stop here. Obviously, it's amazing to be the lead of a Netflix series that's popping off, but like, I want to create my own content. For what's in the near future, is I do have a film coming out at the end of the year. It's called Dr. Bird's Advice for Sad Poets. Which is a really, really cool script. There's some people from the Netflix family, which is really great. That'll be out at the end of next year. And then I also have another TV series coming out. It's called One of Us is Lying. And that'll be on Peacock, which is NBC's new streaming service. It was a New York Times bestseller. It's been on the best-selling list for, I think, like 116 weeks. That title sounds so intriguing. It's like Pretty Little Liars meets The Breakfast Club. Okay. So it's really cool because it's a very, very different character. You definitely won't be seeing John B in that show, which is kind of fun, to immediately go from one show to another. Actually, as soon as I finished, I auditioned for that show while I was still in Charleston filming, and I got the job a week after I got back to LA. So I literally got back, unpacked, and then went straight to Vancouver and shot the pilot. So because of coronavirus, everything's kind of like come to a halt, but we're going to go back, finish that show. And then, you know, hopefully we'll go back to Charleston and film season 2.
What is a character trait that you feel like after living in the role as John B and being that, breathing that, sleeping that, what have you taken away from that character to like move forward within your life?
I think persistence, you kind of touched on it earlier. Obviously, that's something that I've worked for my whole life. And, you know, this whole overnight success thing is cool. But like internally, and as you know, and as some people in my close circle know, like it's been a lifelong goal. So the persistence that John B shows throughout this series is kind of that long-term, lifelong reminder for me. And as soon as I feel like I'm getting lazy, you know, I can literally turn on Netflix and watch myself go through something that reminds me like, yo, you got to get it together, man. Like really, really pick your shit up and figure it out. So, you know, persistence and his total go-getter attitude is something that like I never ever want to lose touch with.
Are any of the crew members just like, I mean, they don't have to get on camera, but with you right now, just hanging?
I'm solo. I think Drew is on some phone calls, Maddie's doing some laundry, and Rudy is somewhere. So everybody's off doing their own thing, which is kind of nice because I got a little minute to relax and breathe. You know, I'm a little bit of an introvert myself, so probably watch Jersey Shore if I'm being completely honest with you. That's been
I saw you tweet something about that, and I was cracking up. I was like, how did you draw a similarity between Jersey Shore and
Les Mis?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It's Ronnie and Sam's relationship and Hugh Jackman in Prisoner 24, I think it's 2604 or 2406. And there's like this musical number in Les Mis, and it's literally the same relationship between the two. And we were sitting here last night, and we were like, oh God. So Maddie's going to make an edit. He's going to literally put Ronnie and Sammy's face on Prisoner 2406 and Hugh Jackman. And so that'll be out soon.
Okay, I want to ask a couple of questions that maybe the fans want to know while we're...
Sure, let's do it.
Go-to snack right now, anything else that you're watching on Netflix, and what's your playlist?
Well, go-to snack right now is spicy nacho Doritos and Cheez-Its.
Oh,
on my non-John B diet right now. What am I watching on Netflix? I just watched this documentary called Operation Odessa. That was a really good one. And then music. My taste in music is like all over the place. One day it'll be like hip hop. Weirdly, I've been listening to like a lot of old Future.
Yes, okay.
Like DS2. Also like listening to like Otis, some real old into the jazz stuff. And that's kind of been like lately on my playlist. And then obviously with Outer Banks coming out, a lot of reggae, Revolution, Eurasian, Slightly Stupid, Sublime, stuff like that. It just depends. Like if I were to literally take out my recently played list, it would just be like all over the place. So yeah, and it's crazy too. I don't know if you knew this, but my stepdad, when I lived in Atlanta, he DJ'd for, I don't even know if 95.5 is still like around, but he did some parties back in the day and he would DJ for them. So I think growing up around music, your taste is ever changing and you never really have like a specific genre that you stick to. I think for me, like it's just whatever mood I wake up in. I mean, it could be all rock, it could be hip hop, it could be, you know, I don't know, indie lo-fi at some points. It all depends.
I see our high school, elementary school friends in here. It's
Do you really?
Crazy. I'm cracking up. I see Katie Wilkie, Corey
Oh my
Carmichael,
gosh, Katie
Kyle
Wilkie.
Teasdale. Anything else you want to say to the people?
Thank you guys for watching. Like I think for me, it's like so surreal to have so many people. And I promise, like I try so hard to connect with everybody. And the DMs are getting wild right now. So I appreciate everybody reaching out.
I know that everybody appreciates it.
Yeah, so
I cannot imagine.
Yeah, it's been wild. See you guys in the comments. We all see you. We just want to say thank you guys so much for watching the show. We're doing our best to bring you season 2 as soon as possible. Stay safe, and if you're not worried about yourself, worry about others and take care of others because it is a crazy time. Focus on mental health. I'm a huge mental health guy. Like, struggled with anxiety. I've struggled with all of those things. So make sure you take care of your brains and take time for yourself and really make sure that you're reflecting on the things that you want in the future during this present time. So, Jade, I love you, girl. Thank you so much for taking the time.
It's the very beginning.
Yes, it is. Oh, my gosh.
Can't wait and stream so we can see season 2, you guys.
Yeah, get us to #1. Get us to #1 in the U.S. Please, 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 please.
All right, Chase.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.